Hi, this is Günther speaking, Pax Europiana. I'm talking now about Schengen for Romania and for Bulgaria. And it's very negative decision what has happened yesterday in the Home Council. The Austrians have vetoed the accession of Romania and Bulgaria. And I will now explain how to overcome and how to react against this decision. First, let me congratulate Croatia because they are now joining Schengen. Very good. They should hopefully do it already for the next summer season. I hope they have some decency in Austria and Germany because this is very much against our Austrian tourist interests and economic interest if this takes longer. But I think the absolutely useless populists in Germany and Austria, the former EPP parties, will also block this and postpone it for 2024. And another summer of our people in the traffic jams of Croatia. But that's what you get when you follow the Trumpist logic, which unfortunately some in the CSU and in, of course, Orban is very much so, but also in the Austrian People's Party, they seem to get into that direction. The best sign is now obviously this veto, Austria alone vetoing this beautiful NATO allies, Romania and Bulgaria, in the time of war and offending these nations, because ultimately it's very much about the states. Yeah, the effect on the people, the Romanians and Bulgarians are fellow EU citizens. They have free access to the labor market already since 2011, ultimately 7 years after 2013, yeah, so a decade. So ultimately, I don't know what is the big thing. It's just, about the regional elections for the governor of Lower Austria. And that's why I say it very clear. If that's the way that we impose on Europe our regional election kind of schedule, then let's do it like this. Reschedule the decision for February 2023. There will be a new presidency after the Czechs, the Swedes, and then let's do that. And let's do it very clear and simple. And let's simply do it like in February, we come again. And in between, I call all Romanians and Bulgarians and all friends of Europe not to vote for the Lower Austrian governor, and let her feel pain. I'm very sorry because she is actually a very nice person, but her strategists around her, they moved into the populist camp in desperation to save her in this kind of whatever fear of the nationalists who are the Putin friends in Austria. And then they moved her in the completely wrong direction. But now the only way to end this decision is obviously to have a very low level result for the Austrian People's Party in Lower Austria. And I'm very sorry, but that's the only way to do it. There's the Liberals, there's the Social Democrats, there's the Greens, there's alternatives. Of course, what is not an alternative to vote for the friends of Putin in Austria? The FPÖ, under this servant of Putin, Mr. Kickl, who everybody, of course, is afraid, and that's why they don't want to discuss about NATO, that's why they have now made the veto in Schengen, because they want to serve his agenda and Putin's agenda, and the Socialist Party chairman of Romania is very right. This is very much Putin's agenda. And it was agreed already, I'm sure, that this veto will come with Orban and with Vucic at that moment back then in the meetings we had recently. When was it? 2-3 weeks ago. There was a series of meetings where they put this new axis up. And that's very bad. Yes, that's really very bad. Yeah, you see, my efforts here in Austria are really very important, and they are unfortunately not so successful because they have entrenched interests here, Russian interests and anti-European interests, and they are now very able to make a veto against 25 million Bulgarians, Romanians, NATO allies. It's very bad. That's why I always appeal to the Americans and to the European allies. Don't let Austria glide into an Orban state. And we must have changes here. This is absolutely unacceptable. And it was a new highlight of unacceptability, which we have seen exactly now. Good. Not bad, actually. Now I will talk a bit about Free Russia. You will see that. There was this historic Balkan summit, by the way. And that was really very good. I was very happy to see all the big guys in Tirana. Congratulations to the government there. And I have also lined out the agenda, what really should happen in Albania and in Montenegro and in Bosnia. So I'm very active. Follow my Twitter account. I'm doing it one by one, but I cannot also always then do videos as well. Please excuse myself. My most important tool is Twitter. please follow me on the Günther Fechlinger, and that would be very kind. Also, I will continue here on this podcast, and in the winter I will do a lot of audio podcasts again and explain all the things. But one thing is very sure, one thing is very clear: such decisions like a veto against Schengen, they are harming Europe, and that's very anti-European, and we have to address that. And obviously Austria should join NATO, and obviously Montenegro the EU, and Albania and North Macedonia and Kosovo will now apply for the EU candidate status as well. Very good. Bosnia will get the status, Georgia should get it, we should open the labor market, we should get the NATO allies into the EU, and so on and so on. And the only way for peace is the enlargement of NATO into including Bosnia, Kosovo, Austria, and of course Ukraine. I have explained all these things in my podcast already, but just to be very clear, next year there must be NATO enlargement of Austria, and of course Montenegro is already in, but I cannot put all the flags, but of course of Ukraine as a partly unfortunately occupied country, but same like Western Germany, it's absolutely possible to join NATO. And of course Kosovo in NATO and Bosnia in NATO, they are already secured by NATO, so it's not such a big deal. And please, let's get our act together. Do we want to have endless wars with Russia? No, they might want. We have to deter them by pushing the NATO border towards the end of to the borders Ukraine-Russia and the fighting line. That's the only way to end this war. Ultimately, we need also NATO intervention. But on Russia, I will focus more in the coming days. I will release another video. Now, I would like to thank you very much for your time, and please do whatever you can to make sure that this decision by Austria receives the appropriate punishment for the Austrian People's Party, and let's make it sure that in February 2023 the same decision is on the agenda again, and Schengen and Romania and Bulgaria will be in Schengen. Romania and Bulgaria will be in Schengen. That's very important. Thanks a lot. More to come from Pax Europiana here from Vienna. Bye.